You've heard of the Regional Arts Commission, but do you know what they really do? We'll find out next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to City Corner. Well, today it's everything you ever wanted to know about the Regional Arts Commission. And I'd like to welcome their president and CEO, Vanessa Cooksy. Vanessa, nice to meet you for the very first time.
Steve, thank you so much for having me.
I'm thinking what I was kind of joking about in the beginning, I think I'm serious about. I think everyone probably has heard of the Regional Arts Commission, but I just have a hunch there are a lot of people that really don't know what they do, though.
Thank you for asking that. Well, we are fondly known as RAC, and we are the local arts agency for St. Louis City and St. Louis County. The people of St. Louis voted back in 1985 and said that they did not want arts and culture to be a luxury in this community. And so we are chartered by the state of Missouri to serve St. Louis City and St. Louis County. We are the largest public funder of the arts. So we get 94% of our revenue from hotel motel sales tax, which we use to grant to arts organizations.
And you say back, was the 85 the year you mentioned?
Yes.
That was the year, if I'm right, isn't that when I guess it was the general public got to vote on approving that tax?
That's exactly right.
I wonder if that was, I know that was before your time.
Well, just a few minutes before. No, actually, I was born before 1985, but I was still.
But you certainly weren't an officer with the Regional Arts Commission.
No.
But so what do you know a little bit about the history of it? Do you know much about where that idea first came up? Because I would think 35 years ago, that might have been kind of a wild idea to have a tax to support the arts and everything.
It was very unique, and we are one of the first local arts agencies to be funded by hotel motel sales tax. And what was brilliant about that is that the people of St. Louis said, we do not want art to be a luxury. We want to ensure that there is a consistent funding stream so that we can grow arts and culture in this community, not only for our residents, but for visitors. So we share the hotel motel sales tax actually with Explore St. Louis. So we get 4/15 and they get 11/15 to support tourism and arts in our community.
And I guess funding is important because when it comes to the arts, people don't, even though I bet you would argue with me, people don't consider that an essential thing. So I would think, in days gone by, the arts would suffer because if you made a list of 5 things you needed to fund, probably the arts was at the bottom of the list if you're a city official.
You know what? That actually is what some city officials may think, but luckily for St. Louis City and St. Louis County, consistently for the last 36 years, and beyond, we believe that funding arts and culture through the hotel motel sales tax, of course, COVID notwithstanding, is really important because it's more than just about going to museums and or experiencing art from a performance perspective, like going to the theater. It's really how do we make our communities better, more beautiful, more engaging. There's no better way to bring people together than through arts and culture, music and dance.
Now, you mentioned COVID, and when you think about the hotel motel industry, I saw something on the news, really, it was just in the last week or two, a news story about hotels and motels coming back and starting to thrive again. But boy, if your income is based on revenue from hotels and motels, the last 2 years must have been a little rough.
It's been absolutely rough. In 2019, we had nearly $7 million in revenue just from hotel motel sales tax. In 2020, that number dropped to 3.5. And this year, right year to date, we're at $2.9 million. So it's a significant drop, and just everyone knows the impact of COVID on the hotel industry has been significant.
Well, the new year is almost here. How do you feel about 2022?
Things will be better. So the revenue projections are about $4.3 million. So we actually have a years-long recovery for hotel motel until we see kind of pre-pandemic levels. We won't see that until about 2025, but 2022 is going to be a lot better.
It's part of the reason funding is important is because the arts is for everyone. It takes discretionary money sometimes to enjoy the arts, but we don't want people not to appreciate or grow from the arts just because they don't have a bunch of money in their pocket.
That's exactly right. And one of the things that we benefit from in St. Louis is the variety of arts and culture organizations, particularly those that are nonprofit. We have nearly 600 nonprofit arts and culture organizations in St. Louis City and St. Louis County, from very small theater groups to large symphony, our St. Louis Symphony. We really benefit from making sure that people have access to quality arts and culture.
Okay, we're going to take a look at a video in just 1 second. But before we do that, I went to your webpage or something, and I saw a little slogan or something. I just want you to maybe comment or explain it to me. It was 3 words: advocate, partner, and catalyst.
Yes.
Why did you group those 3 words together?
Those are actually the action verbs and what our community is calling RAC forward to do in our new strategic plan that we actually launched in March of 2020. We spent about 2 years asking St. Louisans across the region, what's important to you as it relates to arts and culture? So that is actually the title of our strategic plan and what will guide how we invest in the arts and culture community through our grant making and our programs.
How many people are involved in RAC altogether officially?
Officially, we are led by a group of 15 commissioners. 8 are appointed by the St. Louis County Executive and 7 are appointed by the St. Louis City Mayor. So they are our governing body, and currently we have 7 full-time staff, 3 consultants. So we're continuing to grow. We went down to 4, of course, because of the pandemic and the impact on our revenue, but right around 10 to 15 staff members.
Well, HEC, which I think most people in St. Louis are familiar with, do TV and films and media, did a nice video for you.
Yes.
And I think it's about 17 or 18 minutes long, but we're going to take a look at the first couple of minutes, and why don't we do that, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Awesome.
So this is the Regional Arts Commission.
Art feeds our soul and ignites our imagination.
The arts bring a quality of life to a community that is irreplaceable.
We have amazing stories to tell in St. Louis. Old stories, new stories, stories that can transform lives.
We are at Places, folks. Places, please. House to half. Go.
Leonardo da Vinci said art is never finished, only abandoned. What he did not say is why. But artists know why.
It costs money to create, and I think people forget that sometimes. It's a business. It isn't always the case that their art fully pays for what they're able to do.
In St. Louis, that's where the Regional Arts Commission, better known as RAC, comes into the picture.
RAC is the largest public funder of arts and culture in St. Louis.
The Regional Arts Commission in St. Louis is doing something that nobody else is able to do. It's keeping the arts alive, keeping conversations and dialogue alive.
I think that the Regional Arts Commission has been the angel of the arts community.
I interact with people in the arts and academia. I interact with business leaders, economic development leaders, governmental officials. The folks I know of RAC and the power of RAC.
RAC has a platform and an opportunity to help grow the region's economy.
It's a vital organization. It's important to this area to keep the arts alive.
Since 1985, the Regional Arts Commission has been working tirelessly to bring vitality, value, and visibility to arts and culture in St. Louis City and St. Louis County.
Well, Vanessa Cooksy, what are you thinking about when you see that?
Number one, I love the video, and it really tells the story of RAC and our importance in this region. I particularly want to talk about our economic impact. When you think about the number of jobs, there are over 19,000 jobs that our sector generates, $57 million.
Wait, you just got to back up a little for me. How many?
19,000 jobs. More than 19,000 people in this region work in the arts and culture sector.
Well, there can't be that many museums and galleries, so we got to be talking about more than that, right?
No, well, we have more than 600 nonprofit organizations, plus all of our arts and culture venues that are in Grand Center, Chesterfield, in South County, in Kirkwood. We have arts and culture all over this region.
I had no idea. One thing I was thinking about too when I was watching that is I always grew up thinking, and I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid. I took art lessons, and I went down another path though. But I always thought of the poor struggling artist that barely could afford lunch. But watching your video gives me a much more positive feeling of what people in the arts, how far they can go.
Yes, well, there are two things. RAC's vision is a full creative life for every St. Louis. And if you are upright and breathing as a human, you have the right to be creative. It's part of who we are in the human experience. But also, when we think about the artist, it is one of the most courageous forms of entrepreneurship. And in the same way that we support our tech entrepreneurs and biotech, whether it's through Arch Grants, BioSTL, RAC's job is to support working artists. We're one of the only funders in the region that provides grants and funding to artists. So we fund both arts organizations and artists. And for those who are destined to create something amazing for the community to experience and benefit from, we've got to build the right infrastructure to support artists as entrepreneurs.
Earlier, you mentioned the commissioners. You said some are appointed by the St. Louis mayor, some by the county executive, I guess it was. Are these people necessarily artists themselves?
We do have artists on our commission. I'm very proud of our commission. We have business leaders, civic leaders, working artists. We have people across multiple industries. These are our advocates in the community who believe that not only should art be available to young people, but to all people in St. Louis.
So are you constantly receiving applications from organizations and individuals? Is that one of the main things you do?
Yes, so our three core businesses are grants and programs, advocacy, so we do a lot of research and data, as well as cultural tourism marketing. And so we are a grant maker first, and so we receive applications from arts organizations as well as working artists to fund their projects, fund their general operations, and just help build a more creative and vibrant community in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. And there are three elements of that, you said, right?
Yes, so grants and programs are our main work. So we give grants and programs to artists, arts organizations, cultural tourism marketing. We partner with organizations to share the good news of what's happening across our region. Most of the time when we think about St. Louis as a sports town, but more people come to St. Louis to experience arts and culture than all our major sports teams combined.
We need to take a break, but I'm going to pick up on these 3 points when we come back, and we've got more to talk about. It's everything you ever wanted to know about the Regional Arts Commission, and we'll be back right after this.
The Missouri Botanical Garden is loved by green thumbs and non-gardening types alike because you can play. You can relax. And there's always something new to experience, no matter the time of day or the season. And learn about conservation and one-of-a-kind plants. So come and experience St. Louis.
Operation Wonder Park is a go! There's nothing more powerful than imagination. But don't just imagine. Use STEM to change the world. Who's with me?
Oh, it's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Selfie. Nailed it.
What I love about St. Louis is the 79 unique neighborhoods nestled into 108 city parks, including Forest Park, which is actually larger than Central Park in New York, and of course, the beautiful Tower Grove Park where I'm at now. Oh, the St. Louis Blues. We've got the St. Louis Surge, two-time WBCBL champions. We've got Harris Stowe, Wash U, St. Louis University, and of course, the 11-time World Series champion, St. Louis Cardinals. So come experience St. Louis.
I'm Steve Potter, and welcome back to City Corner. We're talking with Vanessa Cooksy today. She is the president and CEO of the Regional Arts Commission, otherwise known as RAC. And you've been on the job for about a year?
Yes, I started November the 2nd, 2020.
I want to ask you a little bit about your history. Before we do, though, right before we took the break, you were making 3 points.
Yes, so RAC's core business are grants and programs, which benefit artists, arts organizations, and the community. We also engage in cultural tourism marketing. We want our residents and our visitors to know about all of the great arts and culture happenings in our region. And 3, policy and advocacy. We want to make sure that our elected officials know the value that we're bringing to this community.
And do they all seem to have an open ear to you?
Yes, I'm very pleased. Our elected officials in both the city and county have been very supportive of RAC, ensuring that we not only have great commissioners, but supporting our programs. And I'm also hopeful they will support us with American Rescue Plan funds.
Oh yeah, I'm going to ask you about that. I want to ask you a little bit about your story too. Before we do that, let's take a look at a couple of images.
Yes.
And you can kind of explain to me who these people are or what activity is happening, but it's all connected with RAC.
That is actually one of the first events that I attended. It's at the opening of King Lear at the Shakespeare Festival in Forest Park.
Yeah.
Yes, so very fortunate to have my current board chair, Mont Levy, and our incoming board chair, Cheryl Walker, along with our city mayor and Congresswoman Cori Bush, and a couple of our friends of the arts community. And the thing that I remember most about experiencing this particular event, it was early in the summer, and the diversity of people in the park reminded me of our power and diversity in this region. And we were starting to come together and experience arts and culture in person, and that's one of the things that arts brings to the table. It brings people across all demographics together.
What's this?
That is actually an exhibit about Annie Malone that was at the Fieldhouse Museum. And one of the things I'm actually with my mom and my son that I value most about the variety of arts organizations in this community is the stories that we tell about the residents of St. Louis and their contribution to making this region great. Annie Malone was a great leader and very much committed to building her community.
Well, Vanessa, I'd like to know a little bit about you. Were you born and bred here? Where did it all begin for you?
I have lived in St. Louis since 2008, so 13 years. My family originates from Kansas City, Missouri. We've spent some time in the Midwest and on the East Coast. I went to high school in Dallas and finished University of Texas in Austin with a film degree and moved to Atlanta, Georgia to work for the Cartoon Network. So,
wow.
Yes.
What did you do there?
Oh, I was leading the marketing efforts for our childhood obesity initiative and worked on the .com side and spent a little time in the mayor's office for the city of Atlanta and then moved to St. Louis and started my career in philanthropy.
And that was only like about 12 years ago, give or take.
Yes, so had great fortune of being.
So what brought you here? What hooked you here?
You know what? There was a great opportunity. I'm very mission driven, and so I'm always trying to solve some community problem through philanthropy. And I had the chance to come here to work for Save-A-Lot food stores and tackle the issue of food deserts. Spent a little time at Anheuser-Busch in their philanthropy area, looking at higher education and ways to reduce underage drinking, and then also at Wells Fargo, financial education.
Well, how did you hook up with the RAC?
I had, through my work in philanthropy on the corporate side, had been very familiar with arts organizations and funding several arts organizations. And when our previous leader left and the opportunity came up and I got a phone call and said, this is a perfect job because it really does allow me to bring all of my experience.
It sounds like it's such a big job, though. You've got so many irons in the fire.
I do. There's never a good time to start a new job in a pandemic, but I figure if we can do this, we can do anything. I feel so supported in this work. Our community loves arts and culture, and they love RAC. You know, we've been around for 36 years, and our contribution has been significant. We have a lot. Our best and brightest days are still ahead, so.
Where would we be without RAC, I wonder?
In a world of hurt, our community wouldn't be as beautiful or diverse as it is. We wouldn't know about our neighbors in the way that we can and do. I cannot imagine the world, in particular St. Louis, without arts and culture.
Let's look at a couple more images that you brought along with you, and will help tell your story. Who are these people? Well, the lady on the far right, that's Joan Lipkin. I've known her for years and years.
Yes, Joan is an amazing artist, and that actually, I believe very deeply in being in community, and RAC is a public organization. We need to be connected to the community, and so that is actually the St. Louis Symphony
That Uppity
Orchestra's
Theater Company was hers, right?
Yes, and we are at an event out in Creve Coeur, Symphony on the Go. So that's something else that is unique and powerful about specifically our arts nonprofits in this community are very connected to young people and making sure we get art across the region.
What's this?
This actually is an exhibit at Frontenac Mall. Shavarie Perry is a working artist who premiered her exhibit at Saks Fifth Avenue. They have a gallery downstairs. So we put art everywhere. We want a full creative life for every St. Louisan. And so I'm excited that RAC can really champion and help people think differently about art and really expand our view into creativity.
I imagine, I don't know if you had anything to do with this or not, but you know what they've done downtown over the last 4 or 5 years, just with the public art, like between the arch in the courthouse area and then going west, is just so impressive to me.
Yes, people want to live in a community that's beautiful and welcoming. If it was just about jobs and money alone, we would not have community. Art helps build community, and public art in particular brings people together. So RAC will be making specific investments in public art.
I want to just mention a few things that I noticed in the video that we saw earlier, and I watched the whole thing. And you may have kind of mentioned this, but I wanted to bring it up again. $591 million is what I wrote down. That's what you say the impact of the arts is to us.
Absolutely. And when you think about the impact economically on our region of the arts, it's not just about the organization and the number of jobs, but it's all the industries that we touch. Transportation. You're getting in your car and you're coming to Grand Center to enjoy arts. It's hotels, it's restaurants. And so we have connectivity. It's the supply chain. It's all of the things that are required to produce art. So our economic impact is significant, more than sports.
Can you, I don't know off the top of your head, can you maybe give an example of how you've really helped an artist, particularly in the last 2 years when it's been, especially if you're a small artist, how they were impacted financially and how maybe you were able to help a few of them?
Yes, very specifically and most recently, we partnered with several arts organizations and hosted the Arts United Fund, where we had small grants of $500 to $1,000 available specifically for working artists. And this was in April of 2020. And so RAC is a very responsive grant maker, and we made sure that we were able to support our artists immediately. So that was our response to the pandemic. We raised over $500,000 to support over 600 artists. And then on a regular basis, we have our artist support grants, which supports projects for artists, and our artist fellowship, which is a $20,000 grant to an established artist.
Now, of course, the artists have to apply for that.
Yes.
Do all the artists and creative people out there in the region know about you?
I hope that
do they know to apply?
Absolutely. We are open to all applications. The best place to learn about our grant making is on our website, racstl.org, but we've been around for a while and are very known amongst artists.
All right, let's take a look at a couple more images. And there's the contact information, by the way, if people want to know, and you're on Twitter and everything else.
Yes.
All right.
That is a picture of the American Ballet Theater came to St. Louis, and Michael Donovan, who is my colleague, he leads the Missouri Arts Council. And so he is my counterpart at the state level and invests very deeply across our entire state in arts and culture.
Let's go to the next one.
That is the Arts Chamber of Commerce. They had a wonderful event in central and northern part of the city, as well as our friends from Explore St. Louis. And that was a day where we just were able to connect with artists and arts organizations from Grand to Skinker.
Okay, I think we have one more.
That was at the premiere of Patsy Cline at Stages at the new Kirkwood Performing Arts Community. That's Keith Williamson from Centene and my colleague Christy Gray from the Whitaker Foundation. And if you haven't had a chance to experience art at the Kirkwood Performing Arts Center, it's really
We've got
nice.
2 more images. Why don't we just go ahead and look at those?
Sure. That's actually at the St. Louis Art Museum at the launch of the Viz Awards, which celebrates women artists and leaders in the arts and culture community. That was
Looks like a Zoom meeting.
It is, we have a hybrid life now. I think that's our new normal. Had the privilege of sharing with our current class of Leadership St. Louis leaders the value of arts. They had a whole day dedicated to the arts.
This is hard to believe. 11 million people attend art events in St. Louis every year.
Yes, and now, of course, COVID notwithstanding when no one was traveling, but more than the Blues, the Braves, and our college sports combined, more people come to experience arts and culture in St. Louis.
Wow. Vanessa, another thing that I found really interesting was that, and I didn't even think about this, but evidently it's a fact, that local businesses here in the St. Louis region use our great support of the arts to attract employees.
Absolutely. I'm hopeful that everyone watching will take the time to watch the full story of RAC on our website. But for major employers, even small businesses, talent is essential to business growth and to community. And people aren't just coming for the job, they're coming to be in community.
Well, now that you mention it, go over it real briefly. We're just in our last minute or so. But if people want to see the rest of the video we saw, how did they do that? What's the best way to find out more about what you do? And if you're an artist, to apply for things?
Everything is at our website, racstl.org. We've got the full-length video on our website. I like to say you can know, show, and go. You can know what's going on in the arts community, show support for an artist. We have the ability for folks to donate through our website so they can support our artist entrepreneurs, and go. We have an amazing event calendar of arts and culture events across the region.
I was going to ask you about donating, but you certainly take donations. And
Yes.
is there an opportunity to volunteer? Or?
Not yet. So we are primarily a funder, but over time, we'll definitely look for ways to get plugged in. There are opportunities to volunteer at our grantees.
Vanessa Cooksy, thank you so much. Congratulations on your first year with RAC. And come back sometime next year and see us again, I hope.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
It's the Regional Arts Commission. Be sure and look it up and enjoy the arts. I'm Steve Potter. Thanks for watching City Corner. Bye-bye.